all got to live through that, right?
That's right. That's right. And I've been encouraging everybody, and we're gonna talk about this one. I've been encouraging everybody to to keep moving, stay focused, and keep business moving. If you're in business, to keep that moving, it's important. Like to stay in motion. Now is the time. I think this is the biggest opportunity and cultural shift that we're gonna see in our entire life.
Right, right. I agree totally. This is actually the first time I've ever seen anything like this in my lifetime, and it's a little unnerving, but I can understand how people would be in a panic mode. I really can understand that because I understand human nature in the sense that uh, the way Maslow explains, the hierarchy of needs. When you're on that level one, it's hey, you got to get it.
Yeah.
By any means necessary. Because I was telling somebody the other day, make sure you get your weapons and your ammo because people are not going to starve to death, right? They're going to get the food. If you have the food, and that's their only option, or they're going to come get the food. Please know that. And I'm not saying shoot anybody, but share the food. You know what I'm saying? But don't just let them come in and overpower you because I was looking at a little video clip last week with like about 60 monkeys. I think it was in Italy. About 60 monkeys running into the city. And the reason they were running into the city was because there was nothing to eat. They were coming to get some food. You know what I'm saying? And they weren't coming to talk about it. They were coming because, see, if you don't get it, you're gonna die. That's how that works. But let me briefly start this off so that we can get this going. My name is Larry James. My company is Speak with Larry, and today I have a guy by the name of Mack Burnett III. Is that correct, Mack?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Mack's a marketing expert out of New York. Is that also correct?
That is New York City, born and raised in Queens. I grew up around the corner down the block from 50 Cent. So.
Fantastic. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to share some information with you guys today about how things work on the internet, how to actually start your own online presence so that you can introduce who you are to an audience that you'll be creating, because that's actually how this works. Like when you create your first video or write your first blog or create your first podcast, no one knows you. Please know that you are unknown, but as you consistently do things, people get to know, like, and trust you. So that's the avenue that I'm trying to get my clients to understand that's necessary to take advantage of today, especially with the pandemic going around right now where we're all having to be homebound. This is a good skill to learn because learning skills is a major part of our growth in life. So I'm going to allow Mack to share a little bit about what he does and how we can learn from what he has experienced in his life so far. So Mack, if you don't mind, welcome to the Speak with Larry show.
Thank you for having me, Larry. I appreciate it. Just us being on this phone, having never met in person, is a testament to the power of the internet and the things that we can do, man. So I'm excited to be here, and I appreciate you having me.
Absolutely. So let me ask you a quick question, Mack. I just made 10 years on my journey in this online entrepreneurial journey. How did you actually get started in it?
Yeah, congratulations. So I'll tell everybody my story, man. I didn't start here. So, well, right now I run a growth consultancy where a growth, and I'll explain what a growth consultancy is. Growth coaching and consultancy. I coach and I consult people around the areas of growth, and I have a whole success roadmap and a system that I walk people through. And a large part of that is marketing and positioning and branding and messaging and things like that. And I'll walk everybody through that in a few minutes. And I'll also give everybody a way that they can download that. But I've been teaching at NYU. I've been teaching marketing at New York University for part-time for about 7 years. But I didn't start there. I started as a mailman. So I used to be a mailman in Queens, and I was a letter carrier. Shout out to all my letter carriers if you're out there. Because I know y'all going through it right now. So
absolutely. As a matter of fact, that's my other job. I work for the post office as well, but I work inside. I'm inside.
Oh, okay. Yeah, man.
It's better. I'm not a ground pounder. Those ground pound, I give props to them because they do 15, 20 miles every day.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. So I was a letter carrier. I delivered the mail to the Mets baseball team. And but I did that during the day, running from dogs and all of that. And then at night I went to school, got my degree in computer science, and I went to become a programmer. And didn't love sitting in a room. I'm a people person. I didn't, programmers are code junkies. They sit in a room and they write code. But I learned a lot about computers and technology. So I would build these really, really cool, I build these cool applications, these programs, and nobody would use them. Like they would spend $100,000 and 50 people would use it. And I was like, this doesn't make any sense to me. So I started learning marketing, fell in love with it, and I've been doing it ever since. And then, not to date myself, but then September 11th happened. And then so I started my own company. I did that for 8 years. And then 2008 happened, right? And then I started working. And then I kind of shifted, went back to work for other people. But when I started building my company back, I built it back virtually. And I've been working virtual now for about 10 years.
Right, right. And the internet has made it so simple. People that I like to cater to what we call the baby boomer generation, because they're either retiring, they have retired, and they have a little money to invest in, what they want to do the rest of their lives. But one of the disconnects that I find that a lot of them have is the fact that they're not really computer literate, a lot of them. So that's a process that's very simple to teach and very simple to learn, but the mindset that they have is that it's not. They think it's so difficult and they'll never be able to do it. And if you think like that, you're absolutely right. Right. So as I venture more into this new generation of people, more of my clients are becoming younger and younger because they're actually more computer literate than I am. And that helps the process because I can kind of explain it once and they get it, right? They can take it from there. But what I love about the internet is that you can do virtually everything from home. You don't have to go a lot of places. You don't have to do a lot of things. And one of the things I like to reference people to pay attention to are levels. Anytime you start anything, you're going to be on level 1. You have to know that. And if there's a process to get to level 10. But if you're on level 10 and you're making, say, $3 million a year doing your company, and I'm only on level 4, but I'm making 200,000, why am I upset?
Right.
What
Exactly.
is the comparison there that makes me not comfortable doing what I'm doing what I love to do. I'm creating a lifestyle that allows me to live the life that I want to live. And that to me is the best situation you can be in this life. Because
Absolutely.
many people go to work day in and day out. Like on my job, February that just passed, I made 40 calendar years working for the government, right? So I'm getting ready to retire. And as I retire, I'm going to do this full time, but it's already set up, so I've been doing it for 10 calendar years. So there's a lot of learns and unlearns and relearns and, that has to come into play, but all that's behind me now, right?
Right.
So if you're starting today as let's say you have the online bug, you want to start your online business, what would you recommend to people to start? What would you recommend they start there?
Well, the first thing is what I wouldn't start with is the technology. What I would start with is yourself. And we teach this inside of, we have something that we're launching called a Business Growth Academy. But you need to start with yourself. So number one is you need to have a mindset. You need to have a mindset of working in and on the internet. This is actually no different. Like we've been through these shifts before and these adjustments. So I don't know if you remember, I mean, you're of a certain age, you
Right.
remember before computers came in, and then when computers came in, like people take stuff for granted. There was a 5-year period when everybody was forced to learn how to use Microsoft Office, how to use a computer, use Windows, and use Microsoft Office. And there were people making $100,000 just teaching people how to use it. This is no different. So the first thing you need to do is get your mindset together. And the second thing that you need to do is do a self-inventory and figure out what your skill set is. What value can you offer to other people? Who do you want to help? Who are the people that you want to help, and what do they need? So those are the first 3 things that I would start with before I even touch my computer and figure out what it is. Like, I need to know how I can serve these people. and what skills do I have in this new world that we live in? Because for me, I don't think this is a moment. Even when we go back, this is a cultural shift. So if you want to build your online business, it's who are you? What value can you offer to those people? What solution can you provide? And then go out there and figure out something very complicated and make it simple for people, or be a conduit to that solution.
Gotcha, gotcha. And a lot of people I share information from the beginning standpoint. They say they don't know what they want to do, but they know they want to help people. Because my system actually teaches you how to start your business based on what you have a passion for. And a lot of times people can't identify what that is. Now, that kind of goes in line with what you're saying. You have to look within and see who you really are, identify where you are on the skill level. And as you make that decision to go to the left, then you're going to have to add skill number 1, skill number 2, and skill number 3 to be effective.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but
Absolutely.
One of the examples I give to them when they don't know how to identify what they have a passion for is I tell them, just imagine you're walking into a bookstore or a library and you just walked inside the front door. Which section pulls you that way psychologically for you, you know? And that's a good place to start, because my system also teaches you to do it via videos, because that's the technology we're dealing with today, are videos. And people will watch a video much quicker than they'll read a blog or listen to a podcast, depending on the podcast and depending on the individual. But, you know, you can put like a 2 or 3 minute video up and get a lot of information about which direction you should go from that, right?
Yeah, absolutely. But there's so many tools now that can turn a piece of text into a video.
Right.
That can take a piece of take a video on audio and turn it into a piece of text. So there's, you know, and that's called repurposing. So what I tell people is, when you're going to create content, what is don't focus on, well, I want to blog, I want to whatever. I think video is it, but at the same time, when everybody came up through the school system, there's something that you got a knack for.
Right.
So like for me, it's speaking. Okay. Can I write? I can, but I'm not a blogger. So for me, it's video or it's podcast, right? So it's video or audio. But somebody might be a writer. Okay, so write, do whatever is the thing, I think, which is closest to your skill set in the area that you feel comfortable in. I do think video is it, but at the same time, if you're not comfortable on video, or you don't want to, I'm comfortable on video. If you're not comfortable on video, do the area that you're comfortable with.
There you go. There you go. I always say that you want to focus on a 3-prong approach, but the first prong should be based on what you enjoy the best. Like if you enjoy writing, you should create a blog. If you enjoy being in front of the microphone, you have an option. You can either do a podcast. Like I have an audio podcast that I do once a week. And I just finished yesterday. I do it every Monday. And yesterday I did episode 283. That's 283 episodes consecutively over every Monday. So that's a little over 5 years. So I've got an audience there, you know, and that's how you have to be patient with it, because you can blow up and you can go viral, but that's not really the mindset you focus on when you start your business, right?
Yeah, 100%. I would say consistency is more important than speed, right? Like it's more important. Like it's great. Like, so I'll give you an example. There's a DJ on Instagram named D Nice, and I'm sure a lot of people have heard about this. D Nice did this party over the weekend, and all these celebrities and all these famous people came in, and it didn't hurt that he had that celebrity power, right? But keep in mind, and so he went from 200,000 followers to, I think he's at like 1.2 or 1.3 million in less than a week. But also let's keep in mind, like he's been in music since I was like in high school. I remember he had a song that came out, Call Me D Nice, and he has been consistently pounding the pavement and, you know, carrying around records and DJing little holes in the wall for 30 years. It's not like he didn't go viral overnight. He built relationships over time, and now he's just able to capitalize on it. Right place, right time, right energy, right relationships, and he leveraged it. And
I believe it goes back to, again, the key that he got him there is he's passionate about it. He loves 100% industry. And see, it's so much easier when you find your passion, because that's what you're supposed to be doing. You know, that's why I tell people we have gifts, we have talents, we have passions, and everybody don't have a gift. You know, even though, you know, you might like to think you do. A gift is an exceptional talent. That's exceptional. It's like you don't even have to try and you can uh, be that. But as just a regular person like me or this person right here, then we can increase our skill level to where we're extremely good at something. Like my system teaches you to become an expert at what you do. Now, when you think about becoming an expert, you think that a person has to know everything about that specific subject. No. If you think about reading 3 books on marketing, if you read 3 books on marketing over, let's say, a 90-day period or a 6-month period, you're going to know more than 70% of the people in marketing, you know, which makes you
Absolutely.
more qualified to share information with your audience or the audience that you're creating than the next person, you know. But it's how we feel about ourselves that kind of makes us downgrade our input or our effort into this process, right?
Yeah, and I think a lot of people deal with that. I mean, I deal with it. I've been doing this 20 years, and I still have imposter syndrome. I walked into a room today of executives,
Uh-huh.
and and I'm like, because they wanted to know what was going. I don't want to say what company, but it's a big, it's a Fortune 100 company, and they wanted to know what's going on in the market because they in this little bubble, and they don't really know. So I kind of
Right.
came in and gave like a little half hour, presentation, like boots on the ground, what my clients are seeing, what the market is doing, research, the data, all that kind of stuff. And I still was like nervous because I'm walking
Right.
in, I'm like, oh, all these, these big money people.
Right.
But at the end of the day, everybody was like, no, it's really good. Like your perspective is valued here because you have a skill set that we don't have.
Right.
So,
Absolutely.
so it's and at the end of the day, like what also a lot of people need to know, and it's like you. Let's take you, Larry. Right? I'm sure there's other people that people listen to for whatever, and there's other people that do what I do. There's other people that you did. At this point, the majority, we're all replaceable. People, there is something about you that people connect with. There's something about me people connect with. And not everybody's going to connect with everybody, and that's okay. And you need to be all right with that. But your audience is your audience. For whatever reason, they like you, they're into you, they respond to you, and that's your clientele, and that's your area. Everybody is going to, just because you're an accountant or Phil is a DJ, for whatever the case may be, you all are going to have your little audiences. And the super secret of all of this is you only need 3,000 people in your major audience to make a full-time living online.
That's right.
So
That's right.
when you think about it in those terms, you can't find 3,000 out of 8 billion. Of course you can.
You surely can. But not only that, what I share with people too is that when I show up, people don't want to see me. They want to see you. That's why
Mm-hmm.
as you start your journey along this internet online marketing, but at some point you're going to become a marketer, because if you don't, like I'm an author too, right? And when I wrote my first book, I thought, woo, I made it. But I knew nothing about marketing. So I was like, whoa, I'm not making any money. I would have book signings and whatnot, nothing like that. But I needed to be able to market those books. So I went and I read 8 books over a year's period on marketing, just book after book after book, and I got better at it. And I feel like I'm not as good as other people, but I don't compare myself to other people. But I do enough to generate what I need to have generated, and I constantly learn. I'm constantly learning. But when I share with people about how simple it is to start the process and how important it is to start, because a lot of times people will get all the information, but they won't begin. So how do you recommend a person actually take that first step to doing something? Because that's a gatekeeper when you don't make that first move.
Listen, man, nothing creates a result besides massive action. Nothing creates a result besides massive action. And I want to tell you, most people who are not going to work every day with everything that's going on in the world right now, um, you will never have this much time. You will never have this much available free time again. So what I'm telling all my clients, everybody I can touch, stop binge watching and start binge learning and binge doing.
Right.
Like, just go and do it. It's okay if it's not right the first 10, 20, 50 times you do it. Eventually, you're going to get good at that thing. Because right now is the time to be taking action, and especially everybody's online. The
That's
audiences online have exploded, and I think it's going to contract a little bit, but I think all this office space is going to go away. I
Mhm.
think people are going to get in the mind frame of, yeah, I don't want to go outside. I'm going to find a more comfortable space, and I'm just going to like hunker down and work from home. And I think that's the era that we're moving into. So don't be afraid of taking the action and moving forward. You know, it's like the first time you drove a car, or the first time, your first day of school.
Mhm.
It's no different. So I would just tell people to just step in the water. It's just fine.
Let me ask you this question. How important do you think it is for someone who's made that decision to start that process to kind of gravitate toward what we call a coach or a mentor?
I think that is crucial. And I am a coach, right? I'm a business coach. I'm a marketing coach. I'm a growth coach. Um, I won't hire I have several coaches. I won't hire a coach that doesn't have a coach,
Hmm.
right? Because I think you need to kind of be in the mind frame of it. I think, can you do these things without them? Yes, but I wish I had hired a coach 20 years ago to shortcut the amount of time that it took me to get there, and also to keep me from making a lot of the mistakes that I made that I wouldn't have made if I had that guidance,
Right.
if I had that accountability, and if I had someone who had walked up that path before me. I would have been in a way different situation now. Like right now, I'm working with my coach and we're restructuring some things. And it's funny because my like in my industry, I'm way ahead of my coach, but my coach always gives me perspective because of the way he thinks. So
Gotcha.
I don't pay my coach to teach me how to be better. You hire a coach because you can't see the way you hit the ball.
Hmm.
That's why the person who coaches Tiger Woods, Venus and Serena, they may not play the sport as good as they do, but they can't see the way that they hit the ball. So you need somebody outside to look and say, move your arm up a little bit, step into it, whatever it is, to kind of tweak what you're doing and give you perspective, and it's invaluable.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Finally, let me ask you this question. How important do you think it is for a person to have a schedule that they do things like when you begin? The first, I like 30 days, 60 days, and 90 days. So that way you can make adjustments along the way. So at the first 30 days, 3 days a week, if you're gonna, let's say, create a video series, you're gonna do 12 videos in 30 days, 2 or 3 minutes long. I recommend that people set up what we call a set, so that you see the back of, just like the back set that I have here, and then you come to the same location every day in the same time of day when you get ready to do your thing, right? And once you get, because we're creatures of habit. So once you get that habit set and instilled in you, it becomes natural. It becomes like, well, I got to go do this, I got to do that. Nobody had to tell you, okay, Larry, you need to go and do this, you need to go and do that, because you know. But there are a lot of people who are what we call procrastinators, and they'll do it for like 2 or 3 days, and then they'll put the brakes on for a month, and then they'll
Mhm.
want the results. Well, how do you overcome that with people?
So there's two different ways. Number one is, not everybody is going to move and think in the same way. And I have that same problem. So the first thing is I tell everybody is try to calendar everything. White space on your calendar is
Mhm.
the devil, right? So I try to, it just is, man. You know, I, if I got too much white space on my calendar, that means I need to be doing something. I need to be having more
Absolutely,
activity,
absolutely.
but more structured activity. For those people though who have trouble, like, because I'm that way, right? I see something that has my interest, and I'm a teacher,
Hmm.
and I'm a coach. I'm supposed to be creating this course, but instead of doing that, I'm over here researching something. So I have
Right,
that same
right.
problem, right?
Uh-huh.
So what I do and what I coach my people to do is like, look, block off the time, and if you have to binge create, or
Hmm.
whatever, set a block of time and say, look, for 4 hours on Saturday, I'm going
Hmm.
to turn off my phone. I'm going to turn off everything. And I'm just going to do this one thing. I'm going to just record my podcast. I'm just going to whatever I need to do, and then use the power of the internet to schedule those things out. So some people are more routine based, where, like you, Larry, like you say, like every Monday I do my
Hmm.
podcast. And some people aren't like that. Some people need more of a free flowing schedule. That's cool,
Right.
but you still need to build in some structure, and then build in some focused work time. 4 hours. If anybody wants to look more into that, there's something called Pomodoro technique. So basically what it is you work for 25 minutes, you take 5 minutes off, and they have like clocks,
Hmm.
there's timers, and there's apps that you can do. It's a really good technique. If you guys Google it, it'll come up.
Right, right. I know exactly what you're talking about. And you know, what over time, what I have, what I've tried to work so hard and getting into from my mind to another person's mind is that this is not an overnight success type of process. This is going to require time, and it's going to require effort, and it's going to require that from you. So if you're not interested in it, it's like having a job that you don't like. You're not going to put out effort. So that's why it needs to be in line with something that you either like, you either have a passion for, or something you're willing to learn about. Because as you're doing your research and gaining the knowledge about it, you'll get more excited, because if you're interested in it, it's going to open doors to you that before you thought you didn't even recognize was a door, right? Because you didn't have enough knowledge to understand where you were with that. But as you gain more knowledge and get, because what happened is, I believe that the universe will bring people and situations into your world that will help you get there where you want to go, right? But you have to know where you want to go, and you have to be willing to do the work, right? So if you have all that in line where you're ready to go, put me in, coach, right? Because that's what it takes. It takes, like you said in the beginning, that mindset. If you have that mindset, you're ready to go. The only brakes you need to put on is when the situation put brakes on. You know what I'm saying? Not yourself.
Absolutely.
The situation, and it will come up, and it'll slow you down. But you know, that's a process, and you'll learn from that. So with that being said, the final question I want to ask you is, over the next, let's say 90 days, what is the one skill that you would recommend to my audience that they should work on to get better at whatever it is that they're doing?
The number one skill. So there's a couple of things. I would say it's two, but one,
Okay.
and I'll tell you why I'm saying that. Number one skill right now is creating and distributing content. That is the number one skill that I would have everybody focus on, is learning how to create effective content, whatever that content is for you. If it's Instagram, and it's images, if it's video, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Content is king, but distribution of that content is queen. So you need to learn how to put that content out in the world so people can actually see it. Organic views on Facebook are around 6%. So if you got a Facebook page, I got clients that got a Facebook page with 500,000 people on it, and when he puts something out, only 12,000 people see it. So you need to learn all of the various different ways about how to push that content out,
Right.
not just to create it, because you can have a masterpiece that sits on your hard drive and nobody sees.
Absolutely. It's like I said about having the knowledge in your head, but not letting the world know you have it. You know, then they can't appreciate it. They can't, you know, give you big ups for sharing that with the world. And finally, my thing is that what we're doing is we're actually giving. And from a universal perspective, when you give, you get. It's reciprocity. But you're not giving to get. But if you are giving, you can trust that you're going to get, especially when you're helping people. Like when I put this video up, you can trust that there will be somebody that gets it, that will benefit from this video. And I may never see them. That's not necessary. But because it's available, then they get to see it, they get to make a decision. And sometimes it just pushes them over to the other side to where they're ready to, you know, take the ball and run. But with that being said, we're coming up to the point that I like to call the end. So I want to thank you very much, Mack, for joining me here today. My name again is Larry James, and this is Mack Burnett III, a marketing expert from New York. And I'm going to let Mack give you his vitals as far as his URL, his website, and everything. So Mack, if you please.
Yeah, absolutely. So if anybody wants to, I'm gonna give you two ways to reach me. So the easiest way to find me and all the things I'm doing is a website called meetmack.com, MEETMACK.com, and you can go to all of my companies. The name of my company is Powerful Impact. But if you guys want, I have a free resource for everybody. I have a webinar called the 6 Stages of Business Growth. And if you want to get that webinar, you can text success, the word success, to 44222, 44222. Text the word success, and you can get that webinar for free. It's actually really good. So go to Meet Mack, download that. And Larry, I just want to thank you for having me, man. I had a good time. This was a good break from my work day, and keep doing what you're doing, man. Things are beautiful.
Okay, I appreciate you sharing with me, man. This is what technology allows us to do, long distance, right?
That's fact. That's a
All
fact.
right. Well, listen. This is we always have what we call in this business. We have what's called an intro and an outro. And my outro says, "Share with someone else what I've shared with you."